Hello, welcome to the first lesson of installed exterior cladding. My name is Habineza Michel.
And I am Hamman Gabriel Devot. We are both trainers at Royal Activate School.
In this lesson, you will have 6 videos about planning, preparation, and mounting exterior cladding.
Let's now proceed with preliminary works and selection of timber.
Enjoy the lesson.
Hello everyone, my name is Seti Munyahirwe, the carpentry trainer at Royal Activate School. We are going to have the lesson 1 in exterior cladding, and the objective of this lesson is that later you will be able to take measurements on the site. Another objective that we are having is that later you will be able to design cladding based on the measurements taken. Later we have another objective where you will be able to select the timbers that you can use in cladding installation. In order to achieve the objectives, I would like to request you to follow well and take notes where it is necessary. Now, before we produce the cladding, we need to design it. And therefore, here we are going to take relevant information, and based on this information, we will design the cladding. So that's why I'm here with the paper where I'm going to record the sizes, but then besides this, I need the tape measure, I need pencil and folding ruler so that I can correct all necessary information. We will mainly measure the width and the length of the site where we will fix the cladding and analyze how it is so that we can design the cladding which fits to the site better. When you want to install the cladding, you have to do the designing. So in designing, then the first thing that we need is the information on the site. So we will produce 2 claddings. One is sample cladding that we will install here, but later I will show you another site where we will now produce the real cladding. So we are going to take the information on this sample cladding, and there it's the reason why I have all tools I need, including the measuring tools, but also the paper where I can record the information that I'm going to take. I need to record the length and the width of the cladding mainly, but also I have to check the site to see if there is something that I can take into consideration, like where the cladding will start and where it will end. Before we start designing the cladding, let's talk about some terminologies, because even during designing you will have, let's say, to consider them so that you have later the cladding which fits with the standards. First of all, on the cladding, we have the formats. Let's say the cladding formats. And the cladding formats actually are observed on the exterior sidings. So in the formats that we have the horizontal format. The horizontal format is this format here. They call it horizontal format because the exterior sidings are laid in horizontal position. Besides the horizontal format, we also have vertical format. The vertical format will look like this one. It's just called the vertical format because the exterior sidings are fixed in vertical position. This means when you want to fix the studs, you will have to fix them in opposite way. Let's say that the exterior sidings are fixed. It means they will be horizontal. Besides the cladding formats, we also have the parts of the cladding. So we have different parts, but depending on the design of the cladding, we can have this part on this cladding, but then if we go on another cladding, then we do not have the part. Because mainly it depends on, let's say, on the behavior of the area where the cladding is fixed. So we'll talk about the different parts, but if you do not find all of them, it's because of, let's say, the area where the cladding are fixed. The first part that we have, it is the studs. The studs normally will be the vertical pieces that will fix on the wall so that they can support the exterior siding. So the studs are those pieces here, like this one, and they are running vertical as this cladding it's built, or let's say installed in horizontal position. The next part that we have on the cladding, they are the exterior siding. The exterior siding, they are now the pieces that we have to fix on the studs, and actually the exterior siding will give the aesthetic of the cladding in general. The exterior sidings can be connected in different ways by using different joints. Besides this, we have the flashing material. The flashing material, we use it, let's say, outside, mainly, let's say, to close the gaps which might be between the wall and the cladding. But also they give the aesthetic as they are flashing on the sidings. So this piece we have here under, just to cover this gap, and another piece we have there outside on the corner of the cladding. If we consider this cladding, we can have the other parts different from the first cladding that we considered. For example, here we have the moisture or vapor barrier. So the black part we have there. So on this cladding, it makes more sense to fix it there because we will have much rain, maybe which might affect this cladding. So that's why the vapor barrier will be necessary to put. So while on another cladding, it's just under the roof, nothing will happen to it. Besides this, we have the weather bar. The weather bar, it will be fixed here on top. So as this cladding is still in the process, I just have the weather bar produced, then I can show you where it will be. If you assume that this is the end of the cladding, it will be just fixed there, like this, so that we can avoid that in case we have a bit of water which might tend to enter inside, and then the weather bar can stop that. The weather bar has to be produced in, let's say, the way which should drain the water away from the cladding. So that's why I have the inclination here, and in case the water is coming, I have the strut there under, so that this water which is coming, it can be stopped by the strut, and then it will fall down immediately. While installing the cladding, we need to make the design before. So that's why we have the drawings with us, and from the front view, you can easily see that we will have the cladding which is having the triangular shape and with the exterior siding in horizontal position. So down we have the section which also shows how the different pieces will be arranged from the inside, let's say. There you can also see how the exterior sidings will be fitting together, and on the top you can see that we will have the vapor barrier, and from the bottom you can see that we have the flashing material which will be covering the gap between the joist and the siding. After designing a cladding, the next thing will be selection of the materials. For us, we are going to select timbers, but there are other different options that can be used. For example, you can use aluminum weatherboards, you can use wooden panels, but for us we decided to use the wooden planks. So that's why we are going to select timbers. The timbers that we are going to select for cladding, as you know, cladding is fixed on the house, mainly outside. And the purpose for that is that we need the aesthetic most of the time. That's why the timbers we are going to select, they are timbers which will later give good aesthetic. Besides this, they should resist heat because they are outside, so they will have much sun. That's why actually it's advisable to use timbers which can resist heat, or in other words, most of the time we will use hardwood. Besides this, they should also be durable, and they should reduce the times that you have to do maintenance. We are going to select them and we will use different tools. It's mainly the folding ruler and the hydrometer, of course, to measure the moisture content. So now let's measure the pieces to check how it is. So this one is having the moisture content which is around 15%. So now let's compare it with another piece that we got in our stock during the last days. The moisture content is far too high, so that's why we can use these pieces, because the moisture content is better. So, but then again, this is not a nice piece because of the knot and the split, which will reduce the strength of the roof. Moisture content was measured, so this should be okay. So at least it's the piece that I can take with me.
Hope you enjoyed the lesson.
Once again, we have learned a lot from this.
As usual, you can find this video on the e-learning website of Rwanda Polytechnic for more repetition.
We welcome you again for the next session.
Until then, stay safe and
Goodbye.
goodbye.